Well, good morning, Unity of Sarasota. How you doing, all you smiling people? It's so good to see.
There's a place for us, somewhere a place for us, peace and quiet and open air, wait for us somewhere. There's a time for us. Someday there'll be a time for us. Time together and time to spare. There's time to learn, time to care. There's a place for us, a time and a place for us. Hold my hand and we're halfway there. Hold my hand, I'll take you there. Somehow,
Love that song. Good job.
Just a moment. Be with you in a moment, I promise. I'll get there somewhere. Ooh, wow. I
It's
love
my
that song.
party and I'll cry if I want to.
Woo!
I had to do that. I'm sorry I had to do it. It felt inappropriate.
Whoa.
Appropriate.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.
There you go.
Wow, that's one of my all-time favorite songs, and especially the way she does it. And I had no idea that was going to get to me so much, but there you have it. So, good morning. I'm Reverend Dr. Susie Shadle. I welcome you to Unity of Sarasota, where something is happening somewhere and also right here. Something fabulous is happening right here, right where you are, and everywhere that you are. So just know that, own that, take that with you everywhere you go. Unity of Sarasota is a beacon of light and love, opening minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives. This is who we are, individually and collectively as community. We just magnify that beacon. We're an inclusive spiritual community that embraces empowering and life-affirming practical spirituality for richer living right here and right now. And we join with our unity movement worldwide in creating a world that works for all. A world that works for all, because somewhere there's a place for each and every one of us. And it's here. It's here, because everyone is welcome here. If you're a guest or a newcomer visiting with us for the first time today, I'm going to ask that you please stand and remain standing for just a moment. We'd like to find out where people visit us from. And Kimberly Bailey is our board member of the day. She has a gift for you, and that gift is a shell necklace that is indicative of the beautiful beaches of Florida. Each shell represents the love that you are, and when we string it together, we become a community of love, and now you're a part of that community as well. Thank you. Thank you. She also gave you a welcome packet that has information about Unity, and on the back is a welcome card. We'd love for you to fill that out and put it either in the offering plate, or you can take it to the Red Umbrella welcome table in Fellowship Hall after the service. We'd like to get to know you a little bit. One thing you need to know, and it's very important today, one thing you need to know is if you take the necklace out of the little bag and you wear it, when you go to Fellowship Hall for hospitality, you get first-in-line privileges. And we have a lot of food in there today because it's our Bring a Dish to Share Sunday. So you're going to want to wear the necklace. It's a real advantage. Excuse me. I just want to go around and see where you're visiting from. How about back here? Where are you visiting from? Massachusetts. Boy, I bet you're glad you're not there. Welcome. Welcome to sunny Florida. Not so much today. Thank you very much. You can go ahead and have a seat. Thank you for being here. And how about here? All the way from Bird Key. All right. Welcome home. We love having you. All right. And we also want to take this opportunity to welcome all of those who are joining us on our live stream on our website, unityofsarasota.org. Let's wave to those guys. Hey. And just know that if you need to miss a service for some reason and can't be here in person, you can always go to the website, unityofsarasota.org, hit the services tab, and just scroll down to the service you want to watch either live, or you can watch the recording later, either there or on our Facebook page or our YouTube page. So lots of ways to stay connected no matter where you are, because somewhere there's a place for you, and it's right here. No matter if you're not even here. Isn't that? It's just the miracle of miracles. Excuse me. If you are here with us today, welcome. We're glad to have your energy joining with ours wherever you may be on your spiritual journey. You are welcome to journey with us. And the same goes for those of you who are clicking in over the ethers. You're all welcome to join us for the journey of spirituality. It makes it a whole lot better when we journey together. No matter where we are, we bring each other along. So get ready for the trip. Pack your bags and let's go. All right? It's wonderful having you celebrate with us here today. So before we move on, I want to celebrate our children. Where is Cheryl? Is Cheryl here? Or is she still out there? Cheryl Grant is our youth and family coordinator. Cheryl, hey, let's give her a hand. Okay. Do we have children here today, actually physically small children? Only the big ones that are here. All right. Well, that's good. But we're going to bless the child in each of you and the children who are yet to come. They're on their way. Trust me, we've seen evidence on Easter and on Halloween. We've seen evidence. There are children in Sarasota, and they're starting to know where we are. So this is good. We're going to hold the consciousness and the mental equivalent for it. So let's bless the child in us and the children that are yet to come. Ready? We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we see the living Spirit in you. And at this time, the children would follow Cheryl back to do all kinds of great activities. I'm waiting to see how many of you are going to follow Cheryl to go back and do all kinds of activities. There he goes. I knew this would happen. Okay. For those of you who are staying with us, thank you, Cheryl, for all you do. We appreciate it. We have some invitations for your participation here at Unity of Sarasota. Lots of fun and great things going on. Today in our bookstore, One World Books and Gifts, our featured author is Unity's own Bea Hartman. Is she in here right now, or is she in there? She's in there prepping. So go check it out. She has some wonderful books, some of which are about Sarasota. And so you could get to know Sarasota even better. Also, the bookstore has a holiday sale going on, so please go in, check out the wonderful things. There are unique gifts in there that you can only get in One World Books and Gifts right here at Unity of Sarasota. So shop early and shop often, and you will dazzle your friends and family. We have lots of opportunities to give to the community. Our angel tree is up, and it is in the lobby. And it is important that you bring your unwrapped gifts. You take a tag, leave the top part of the tag on the tree and tear off the bottom part. And then make sure you bring your unwrapped gifts back here to put under the tree by the 30th of November. If you miss that deadline, you still have till the 9th of December at Salvation Army itself. So let's pull all the tags on the tree. Okay, you ready? Next opportunity to give is the toy drive for Mothers Helping Mothers. There's a gigantic toy box that is overflowing already in Fellowship Hall. I invite you to continue to have it overflow and overflow and overflow so that some kids have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas this year. That goes through the 11th of December that we can bring those toys. And then finally, you may wonder why I brought my entire shoe wardrobe with me. We are doing a series on the spiritual emeralds of the Wizard of Oz, and we are filling the stage with shoes and socks for kids of all ages, and these truly are the ruby red slippers and the superpowers that we want to hand over to kids before Christmas. So one more week to collect. Next Sunday will be the last Sunday, and then we will take these to Mothers Helping Mothers. So I'd say offhand we're doing pretty well. What do you think? Yeah, it's great. It's great. And then next up, December 3rd, Peter Cater here in concert. He is a multi-platinum, Grammy-winning recording artist. The man is fantastic on the keyboards. Not to say that Rob isn't. We're spoiled with Rob. Peter Cater's a little different. One of the things he does, if you were here last year, you saw it and may have experienced it, he actually has people come and lie down underneath the piano. And everybody that did that, we had to help them off the stage because they went into a whole other zone. It was incredible. So December 3rd, you want to bring your friends and family, and really, it's fantastic. I really can't.
Susie, can I do that? Anybody want to? No.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we should try it.
I want to be him. So
there we go. We can try that. And finally, this is our list of holiday services coming up. There will be more detail, and there's more detail on the website. Lots of things happening. 14th, we have Harp and Crystal Bowls holiday concert right here. That's a Wednesday, 7 p.m. The following week, the 21st, we have Handbell Choir right here, holiday concert. And then we have Christmas Eve right here. When? On the 24th on Christmas Eve at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, not 7, 6. And then finally, coming up will be greeting the new year. And by God, we're going to greet it on the very first day. Not one minute is going to get away from us. So the very first day will be our burning bowl and white stone ceremony to kick off 2023 in a magnificent and powerful way. So check it out, tell your friends, bring people you care about. It's going to be wonderful. All right. Rob,
Are you ready for me?
I'm running out of breath. Let's sing. I'm going to ask you to stand for the unity song.
Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can feel, is already here, is already real. There is no one out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me. There's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All knowing, all knowing, answers when you pray. When the world looks darkest and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you, I will always be. I am one, I am unity. We are one, we are unity.
So I invite you to take your seat and relax into it. Imagine as you settle in that it is the very presence of Father, Mother, God, Spirit supporting you, lifting you. And so as we get ourselves centered and fully present in this moment, I invite each of us to take a deep breath in to the very center of our being and feel that breath of Spirit fill your heart space. And then release that breath. Let it be. Knowing that we have gathered here together to remind ourselves and each other who we truly are, that each one of us is an emanation of the one Spirit, that each of us is here to express something unique and powerful in and through and as us. And so once again, we center ourselves with a deep breath in, and we feel that breath of Spirit gently massage our heart open, and we release the breath and the goodness of our heart to share with the world. And so we are reminded not only of who we are, but we are reminded of who the person sitting next to us is, who the person down the street is, who the person that we believe was born to make our lives difficult. We are one with them. We see the very living Spirit in them as well. We are reminded who each sentient being is, that each one is an expression of the divine. And while we express ourselves with a multitude of diversity, we remain one in the unity of all life and creation. And we envelop those who express themselves with negativity. We hold them in our hearts to remind them who they are, that they too are Spirit expressing, so that they recognize that higher and deeper self within them and begin to express that Father, Mother, God within in their outer lives. And so once again, a deep breath in. It is the in-breath, the inspiration of Spirit. And as we breathe out fully, we share that inspiration with all whom we meet. We spread it across the world so that we together, in our individuality, we come together to create a world that works for all. And for this willingness to be the truth of our being, I am eternally grateful. And so it is, and together we say, thank God within and all around us. Amen. I want to invite Tim Spradlin to come on up and get ready while we do the next part, which you'd think since I write the order of service, I might actually know what it is, but once it's written, it's out of my head. So we're going to do our statement of being. You ready? There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, who is perfect life, perfect intelligence, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. You are an individualized expression of God. We are individualized expressions of God.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. Wind that makes the tall grass bend into leaning. Suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the scene makes them all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I've had some direction. It would sure be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And just maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time, be my friend. Help me start again. Suddenly my world's gone and changed its face, but I still know, I know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, and yet I've watched it growing. And since you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to believe the things that we see. Tell us, should we run away? Should we try to stay? Or would it be better just to let things be? Living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy, but it's taught me to love. So it's real so real to me. And I've learned that we must look inside our hearts to find
Okay. Welcome to Oz on Broadway. That's Professor Marvel echoing the desire of Dorothy to go home, right? Yes. Have you ever had that yearning desire to go home? Yeah? Have you ever had it when you were already home? I have, but that's a story for another day. Okay, so we'll begin with our tradition, which is to recite our core value affirmation together. So, we are a diverse and inclusive community of people who serve and rely upon one another. So, for those of you who haven't been here the last couple weeks, we're going to catch you up a little bit. Our theme for the month of November is the spiritual emeralds of the Wizard of Oz. And this is really a parable, if you will. The story is a parable of attaining spiritual enlightenment and finding the resources we need to master all the challenges and navigate all the challenges that we find in our lives, and to really master the tools themselves and apply them to all areas of our lives. And I will guarantee you that whatever challenges you have, there are others that have greater challenges, and i.e. the reason we're doing all of the giving this year, so that we can give those folks a hand up, a leg up, if you will, or in this case, feet up. And so these really are the ruby red slippers of empowerment up here, and each kid, when they put those on, they're going to feel the power, especially this one right here. I just noticed this one. This one will definitely get it, right? Okay. So keep them coming, keep them coming. I'm just going to catch you up a little bit as well. In week 1, we learned that the Wizard of Oz story is really Dorothy's spiritual quest. It's all about Dorothy's spiritual quest, but it's not just her quest, it's our story too. It's our quest. We are taking that journey with her. It's a journey to explore the inner terrain of our being and to discover our higher self. Now, in Dorothy's case, she had Toto as a little catalyst to begin thinking about leaving drab, bland Kansas. If you're from Kansas, I apologize. It's just a metaphor. So Dorothy decides she's got to run away from Kansas because poor little Toto is going to be put down by the mean old Miss Gulch. And so Toto runs away, and Dorothy says, hey, that's a good idea. We're both going to run away. But then she kind of loses her resolve when Professor Marvel tells her that she really should go back home. And so she heads home, but guess what? The traumatic event of a tornado makes sure to push her on that transformative journey that she's been called to. And so she lands in Munchkin Land. Her house lands right on top of the Wicked Witch of the East, crossing out old belief systems and old ways of being. And she's empowered by receiving the ruby red slippers. And Glinda the Good Witch tells her that her journey will take her down the yellow brick road to enlightenment. Now, Dorothy doesn't quite get it yet. She's still kind of opening up. And she focuses on the idea of going back, not going forward, but going back to Kansas. And truly, there's a more profound journey home awaiting her. Now, last week, week 2, we saw Dorothy and Toto start down the yellow brick road toward the Emerald City. And, you know, Dorothy talks to Toto the entire time, throughout the whole journey. She and Toto are in discussion. And Toto represents Dorothy's inner intuitive knowing. And he guides her to jump out of the box, to jump out of the basket, if you will, and escape that mundaneness of unconsciousness. And so Dorothy and Toto head down the road, and pretty quickly they meet the Scarecrow, who represents our head, our mind, our thinking. And then they meet the Tin Man, who represents our heart, our feeling, our emotion. And then they meet the Lion, who represents the courage to act upon our thoughts and our feelings. And these characters are all aspects of Dorothy, and they are also aspects of each one of us: head, heart, and courage to act. Now, these attributes are really, really necessary on this path down the yellow brick road to enlightenment. And they must be awakened for us to make that journey home to the self, home to spirit within us. So our travelers are skipping down the road, having a good old time, and then they see this gorgeous field of poppies and decide to sit down for a little bit, and boom, they go right out. They sleep, which represents sort of a spiritual sleep or unconsciousness. And so sometimes, you ever been asleep at the wheel? Yeah? You're on a really good path. Maybe it's a diet or an exercise program, or maybe you're doing a spiritual class of some sort, and you're going, and then all of a sudden something kind of grinds a little bit slow and almost to a halt, and you find yourself a little bit asleep at the wheel. Well, that's what happened to these guys in the poppy field. But thankfully, Glenda, the good witch, the spiritual guide, comes to help wake them up out of that unconsciousness and send them back on their journey. And so that brings us to today, to knowing that this journey ultimately will take us somewhere. Lisa's song, somewhere. There's a place for us. There's a place called home. And that home is the place many of us tend to look for at last. It's in here. It's within. It's not out there anywhere. It's in here. The last place we look. But we're smarter than that. So we follow Dorothy's journey, our own journey, and we begin to realize there's this gentle tapping to wake us up, to move us into a more aware consciousness. And so Dorothy journeys through layers and layers of awakening into new consciousness, new levels of consciousness. And she starts out in that bleak black and white unconsciousness of Kansas. You remember, if you watched the movie, most of us have. This is why I'm using this story. It's a parable that most of us know. Jesus taught in parables because he used familiar things, because people could grasp deeper concepts by using familiar stories. So we're using a familiar story. So you remember in the movie, when it starts out, it's black and white. Remember that? There was a day everything was black and white, but some of us remember that. So the story starts out in black and white, just as her consciousness is limited and sort of bleak and black and white. But because of Toto and the tornado, Dorothy lands in the colorful, awakening consciousness of Munchkinland. Remember when it suddenly, boom, just went bright with colors? How cool was that? And then she's encouraged to travel the yellow brick road, the path to spiritual enlightenment and self-discovery. And so initially, Dorothy is looking to get to the wizard. She wants to get to the Wizard of Oz because she believes that this man who is outside of herself is going to solve all of her problems and get her home. So she's looking outside of herself to solve the problems, which is, it's really something I think we all do from time to time, that we look outside ourselves instead of looking within. And so Dorothy is taken through in this journey, all these powerful symbols and imagery, which are representative of the challenges and the vulnerability of that inner journey. The inner journey is not always easy. You'd think it'd be familiar in some way, and sometimes there are glimpses of familiarity, but a lot of it feels sort of vulnerable and challenging. So she's experiencing all of that as well. And on the journey, she encounters both good and evil, light and shadow characters along the way. And all of those characters, good, evil, light, shadow, are all aspects of Dorothy. And they're all aspects of us. So have you ever encountered some of those things? Sometimes we encounter them in other people and we think, oh, that's all about them. Unfortunately, let me blow that for you. It's not all about them. You wouldn't recognize the goodness or the badness of another person if you didn't have a paradigm for it, which means, guess what? It's in you too. So what you're looking at, you're also looking with. But that's okay. It's all part of the journey. It's all part of the journey. So ultimately, all of us must discover the power, not of the Wizard of Oz out there, but Oz within. The within, the transcendent power of light and love that exists within us, the higher truth of our being. That's where the true Oz is, right here. Now, as we go along the story, our seekers arrive at the Emerald City. Here they are. And here are our little seekers, by the way. This is a Russian nesting doll that has all the Oz characters. So You can see they're within sight of the Emerald City now. And so they actually get to the Emerald City, which is the sparkling jewel. It's a utopia, the New Jerusalem, heaven on earth. It's symbolic of what we're all helping to create, a world that works for all. That's the Emerald City, a place where everyone in all of their diversity are honored and celebrated, where all are welcome and valued. And as our travelers approach the palace of the wizard, which is quite impressive, by the way, they, lo and behold, meet more obstacles. They're thinking, we're here, we made it. Not so fast. There are more obstacles along the way, even getting into the palace. They're stopped by the doorman. They're stopped by a gatekeeper. They're stopped by a guard, which, by the way, are all aspects of the Wizard of Oz himself. It's actually, if you remember the movie, they are the Wizard of Oz disguised as all those guys trying to keep Dorothy and her pals out. That wizard, that's one of the first indicators that wizard is a false god. Get rid of your secondhand gods. That is a false god. He demands that before meeting him, that each of them go through a makeover so that they would be more worthy and presentable. You remember they all got spruced up, but they got spruced up outwardly by the wizard and his worker bees. They got spruced up outwardly. They didn't do the inner work. There was no up-leveling of that inner consciousness. It was all outer. You know, I used to be very spruced up outwardly. I looked like the picture of success. I looked good. And I worked hard to do it. And I worked hard to keep up the facade. When in actuality, I was spiritually dead inside. Completely bankrupt inside. If we do not do the inner work, the outer work will begin to crumble. So they only get spruced up outwardly, not inwardly yet. Dorothy is expecting this great, powerful, all-knowing, kind Wizard of Oz. But that's not who shows up. The wizard turns out to be kind of a curmudgeon. Not so nice after all. He's kind of a jerk. And he refuses to help our quartet. And he sends them off. He says, finally, they beg and berate him, and he finally begrudgingly agrees to help, but demands that they perform a very, very difficult task. Another red flag of a false god. Demanding that you do something for me first before I reach out to you. A real God knows that we're one, and that the attributes you seek are attributes of spirit which already exist in all of us. So the false god says, oh no, you have to prove yourself first. It's conditional, very conditional. So what he tells them is they must bring him the broomstick of the wicked witch of the West. And the truth is, the only way they're going to get that broomstick from the wicked witch of the West is they're going to have to kill her. They're going to have to slay the shadow. They're going to have to slay the darkness, lest they be slain, lest their light go out. So it's a very difficult task that we have to cross out the old and the dark in order for our light to remain and to shine. And so, symbolically, Dorothy is being called to face her fears in order to raise her consciousness and move her in the direction of home, to self, to God. Facing her fears of the wicked witch, facing the fears of investigating her own dark side, her own shadow. And so Dorothy and the crew, though, they're really adamant about getting what it is that they seek: a brain, a heart, courage, and a trip home to Kansas. And so they're really adamant about it. So they agree, and the crew takes off to head toward the witch's castle. Now, there they are in front of this castle, facing the shadow of the wicked witch of the West. Not only right there in front of them, but unbeknownst to them yet, it's also within. They have to face their own shadow. The witch represents Dorothy's and our shadow, our lower self. She also represents the dark side of humanity, the side of the humanity where their goodness is still hidden from them. Those who have forgotten who they truly are, that they are an aspect and an expression of spirit. Now, in this particular case, an example would be any of us letting our misgulches scare us away from our home, from ourself, from our source, just as she did to Dorothy. Or another example of giving in to that darkness is the fear of going down the wrong fork on the yellow brick road. And sometimes having to make a decision at a fork in the road, making a choice, stops us right in our tracks and we don't make any forward progress. Have you ever done that? Stop because you weren't quite sure which way to go. You wanted some kind of guarantee. I guarantee you'll get where you're going. I can't guarantee you what route you'll take. You know, I had an example of this. Several years ago, I bought a new car, and it was the first time I had GPS in my car. And it was the first day I was driving it, and I was in Tampa, which is confusing enough. And so I'm trying to get home from Tampa, and I get to this one place where I have to make a decision fairly quickly. And because I wasn't confident with the GPS in the car, I had that on, but I also had the GPS on my phone, what is that called? Google Maps on my phone. And so I get to this place where I have to go left or right, I think. And one of them told me to go right, the other one told me to go left, so I went straight. And several hours later, I did get home. I took the scenic route. And sometimes we do that, and sometimes it's a gift. You know, I remember another time I was taking a route. This was in Seattle. I was kind of cutting through I-5 on downtown Seattle, and I remember it initially being very irritated. It was almost bumper to bumper, almost standstill traffic. And I knew I was going to be late. But you know what? I looked over to my left, and there was the most gorgeous sunset I'd ever seen in my life. And I thought, you know, if the traffic had been flowing, I would have missed that. So maybe sometimes that road is exactly the one you're supposed to be on. And so our shadow, our ego, often tries to keep us disconnected from that higher self, that higher knowing that we are on the path. And that can thwart us from our path of spiritual connection. Won't get me because I am the great and powerful Oz. Just when you thought I wasn't going to wear a costume today. I am the great and powerful Oz. And I'm sending these 4 characters out to deal with the Wicked Witch so I don't have to. So, our seekers arrive at the Wicked Witch's castle. And they encounter flying monkeys. Flying monkeys. You ever encountered flying monkeys? Oh, I bet you have. Those flying monkeys represent our own monkey mind, flying from thought to thought to thought and arriving nowhere, totally unconscious. You ever done that? Oh, I'm being still meditating, and I'm here, I'm there, I'm there. Boop, 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 boop. Those are the flying monkeys. Dorothy and Toto get captured and taken prisoner by the Winky guards as soon as they get there. The guards represent our ego, ego, edging God out, blocking us from God, good, orderly direction on our path. The guards stand there at the precipice. Now, Toto once again escapes. Toto escapes, symbolizing our desire for freedom to be real, to be who we authentically are. Toto's not putting up with this stuff being pinned in. He's out. He's gone. He's flying. And so Toto runs and finds the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Lion to come and help free Dorothy from the castle. And they do that, and as soon as Dorothy is freed, they all get cornered by the guards in the castle. So they're stuck yet again. And the witch comes along, and she sets the Scarecrow on fire. Remember that part, how scary that was, especially when you were a kid? Sets the Scarecrow on fire. You know, I was a scarecrow last week. I almost set myself on fire. So I can relate, you know. I can relate. Have you ever set yourself on fire? I mean, metaphorically, have you ever been sort of on fire? Not in a good way? Yeah, sometimes we do that to ourselves, or we allow others to do it to us. So the witch sets the Scarecrow on fire, which represents trying to destroy our ability to think, to have original thoughts, to have powerful thoughts, to have creative thoughts. And so in response, Dorothy grabs a bucket of water and throws it on the Scarecrow to extinguish him. And in the midst of it, splashes water on the Wicked Witch. You remember that? Splashes water on the Wicked Witch, and I'm melting. Remember that? How cool was that? That's symbolic of Dorothy's victory over her own shadow. The water is symbolic in many spiritual traditions of spiritual purification, of baptism, if you will, of creating a new life, a new consciousness, a new awareness. And so Dorothy she begins now to fully embrace her spiritual power and up-levels her own consciousness so that more of her light is shining and less of her shadow. Okay? And so the grip of the ego, of edging God out, becomes loosened. We don't obliterate the ego entirely. It does have a useful purpose when it is managed properly. But the grip of the ego squashing us is loosened, just as it is for Dorothy. And then Dorothy can embrace and embody God, good orderly direction on the path of her enlightenment and awakening. And so Dorothy has now begun to open herself to the guiding power of the light from within her. She found that inner authority instead of that outer authority of the Wizard of Oz. She's finding the Oz within, the transformative self. And when the witch melts, you remember what happens next? The flying monkeys and the guards become peaceful themselves. It's miraculous. It's powerful. They become peaceful when the shadow begins to die down. And Dorothy's awakening helps to create a world that works for all. Just like every time any one of us wakes up just a little bit, we shed a little more light on the world, and we help to create a world that works for all. Never think you're insignificant. Every awakening thought or feeling or impulse is us shedding more light on that world that works for all. And so that is our call, just as it is Dorothy's call, to shed more light. Now sometimes, I don't know about you, but I have found the spiritual journey of awakening to sometimes be very, very difficult and very challenging, because it requires me to be who I truly am and not who I'm not. And many of us have gotten very familiar and used to being who we're not. We've created masks and persona of all nature in order to get along, to move along in the flow of sort of the group speak or group consciousness. And so sometimes it's difficult to find our way back to who we truly are. It can be a challenging path. And many people give up. Many people don't even attempt it. The path of spiritual awakening narrows the further you go down the path, and fewer companions will be on the path with you. You know, I learned that in many ways, but particularly in ministerial school. We started out with a lot of folks, but by the time we were done, there were very few of us still left who actually became ministers, and then a lot of those who became ministers left the ministry within a year or two. We're a bit of a dying breed. I mean, I could be a dinosaur. Who knows? I mean, you know. Yeah, you better take advantage while you can. Ministry is it's not one of those paths that a lot of people jump on, because it requires us to not only do our inner work, but to share it outwardly. So I get to grow up in front of you, warts and all, so that you don't have to. You don't have to do it up here. You can maybe grasp a useful tip here and there and use it for yourself. So sometimes, I don't care, even if we're supporting each other, sometimes that path can be difficult. And so sometimes we feel that we must break down in order to break through. There are many structures in all of life that it would be better for them to break down in order to break through, to stop trying to patch things back together in hopes that it'll be okay. A great example of that is, you don't see this so much anymore, but when I first, my very first car, as a matter of fact, my very first car was old when I got it and older when I had it. And I remember when the muffler started going out, I sounded like a hot rod, and there were parts where it was so rusted there were holes in the muffler, and that's what makes that cool sound. Not so cool because the police write you a ticket for it. So I went and got it patched because I couldn't afford to get a new muffler, so I got it patched. Well, guess what happened? It blew out somewhere else, you know? So sometimes you got to let the thing break down and break through so that you can move to something new. And that's the path that we're called to. Break down those things that no longer serve. And so that path of spiritual development requires it, really, the breaking down of our existing structures, things that are already familiar to us. Spiritual growth allows those old structures, those old support systems, to give way to new ones, more powerful ones. And so breaking down those old structures and our old belief systems and our old ways of being allows for a higher evolution of structures and support systems and ways of being, for us to evolve and become that. You know the old saying, you cannot put new wine into old wineskins. They break through, and you're forced into something new. And so we're asked to bring those old and dark and hidden parts of us out into the light, to release what no longer serves and perhaps never did. To bring what is hidden out from behind, out from way deep within, bring it out into the light where we could see it and heal it. I did this with you last week. I'm going to ask you to do it again. Symbolically, bring what is hidden and what is dark out in front of you into the light. From behind, from within, out in front of you into the light. Let it go. Let it go. When you let it go, you're there ready to receive and become what is next for you. So embrace the light. Embrace the light of spirit that is within. And let your light shine brightly. And let it continue to expand and deepen. And it will take you into a brand new day, every day, every day. Ifeanyi Enoch Ana-Ohu wrote, that's not an easy name to say, by the way, but it's a good quote. He wrote, "Every challenge you encounter in life is a fork in the road. You have the choice to choose which way to go, backward, forward, break down, or break through." So I'm going to invite you to turn within, close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And we'll do just a brief meditation, contemplation to break down, to break through. So just relax again into your chair, let it support you and lift you. Close your eyes if that's comfortable. Otherwise, create a soft, fuzzy focus looking at the flame of the candle or looking at the greenery outdoors. Take a deep breath in to the center of your being. And then exhale fully. And just continue in that gentle rhythm, that gentle cycle of breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in deeply, exhaling fully. Then contemplate this question. Has anything or anyone outside yourself truly sustained you? Has someone or something out there truly sustained you? What wizard outside yourself are you hoping will save you? What is your greatest fear? What is your greatest fear? What do you imagine would happen if your greatest fear gotcha? Know that your greatest fear is never as monstrous as the fear itself. We always imagine something worse than what it really is. So imagine something else. Open yourself to confront your wicked witch shadow. Open yourself to confront that wicked witch shadow within and splash some purifying water on it. Embrace and bring your shadow out into the light of healing, just like we did a moment ago, and be free to be who you truly are. Know that you can bring that shadow out at any moment. At home, at work, stopped at a traffic light, wherever. When the shadow arises, bring it out into the light, to see it, to embrace it, to heal it, to let it go and be free. See yourself doing that now. Now slowly begin to return from the witch's castle to this time and this space. Prepare to head back to the Emerald City. And when you're ready, gently open your outer eyes and be here now. I invite you to join Dorothy and the gang next week when they return to bring the wizard, the great and powerful Oz, the broomstick from the Wicked Witch, and to get what they have sought all along, where they will learn a new secret about home. Blessings on your journey of breakdown to breakthrough. And face your fears and bring them out into the light for healing at every opportunity, and open to the light that is within your spirit, and let it shine. Let it shine. And so it is. Thank God within and all around us. Amen. It's a brand new day.
Look around, cause there's reason to rejoice, you see. Everybody look out, there's messages singing joyfully. Everybody look up and feel the hope that we've been waiting on. Everybody be glad, cause I find silent fear and dread are gone. Freedom, you see, our hearts are singing joyfully. Just look around, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? Can't you feel a brand new day? Everybody be glad, cause the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up to the morning of our happiness. Hello world, a different way of living now. Thank you world, I knew I always could be free somehow. In harmony, show the world we've got liberty. It's such a change for us to live with so independently. Freedom, you see, as I got a heart singing joyfully. Just look around, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? In harmony, cause the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up to the morning of our happiness. Hello world, like a different way of living now. Thank you world, I always knew that we'd be free somehow. In harmony, like a different way of living now. It's such a change for us to live so independently. Brand new day. Can you feel a brand new day? 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 Can you feel a brand new day?
Not an easy song, and Rob
there's too many words.
Rob Satori doing his best
Too many
Luther
words.
Vandross, and so well done. Thank
More
you.
words than a Billy Joel song.
Great. All right.
Well,
What am I going to do next? I have kind of a surprise for you, and so I'm going to do the surprise first, and then I'm going to come back to the other stuff. So take that away. Tim is going to put a video up. This was done by Bella, who she and her team did a fantastic Halloween trunk and treat, and she's made a fantastic video. You're all going to see yourselves there. Many of you will see yourselves in this video. Let's just enjoy this great creation.
And you're on.
There we go.
Look, who is this that we have here? Tell me your name, darling. Cherry Lynn? Cherry Lynn. Nice to meet you, Cherry Lynn. You're gorgeous for Halloween here at the Unity of Sarasota Trunk and Treats. Thank you for coming and joining us. Are you having fun? Did you have a good time? Yay! You want some more candy? Yes, of course. Oh, you're so adorable, darling. Thank you so much. Woo! So tell us who you are. You came to the Trunk and Treat at Unity of Sarasota. And here we have Scarlett and Sabrina. You're so cute. Oh my gosh, your costumes are amazing. And there's their way cool mom. All right, you guys, thank you for coming. Oh my gosh, you're so pretty. Her name's Patty. Hello, Pat. Oh, Maddie. Hello, Maddie. Say hello. Thank you for joining us at Unity of Sarasota for our Trunk and Treats. Did you have fun? Yes. You want more candy? Yes. Good job. Hold it up high. Hold the frame up high for everybody. That's good. Good girl. And you're on. Look, who is this that we have here? Tell me your name, darling.
Back.
Cherry Lynn? Cherry Lynn. Nice to meet you, Cherry Lynn. You're gorgeous for Halloween here at the Unity of Sarasota Trunk and Treats. Thank you for coming and joining us. Are you having fun? Did you have a good time? Yay! You want some more candy? Yes, of course. Oh, you're so adorable, darling. Thank you so much.
This is repeating.
Woo! So tell us who you are. You came to the Trunk and Treat at Unity of Sarasota. And here we have...
For some reason, this is not running the way it is. You know what? Go to Fellowship Hall, because they're going to run it on the screen in there. It's a fantastic video. It's got everybody that participated. Why it's acting crazy over here, who knows? We're taking a different fork in the road, apparently. So why don't we just go back to the original slides, if you would, please, guys? And we'll finish up and go to Fellowship Hall, and you can watch it in there while you eat all the good yummies in there. Okay? Deal? Trust me, it's really a fantastic video. I don't know why there's a poltergeist in the ghost in the machine or something today. All right, our chaplains, if you'll come forward, we have chaplains and ministers here to be in prayer with and for you to have a higher experience of that breaking down to break through, especially the breakthrough part. And so we've got Virginia, we've got Reverend Matthew, Reverend Amy's around somewhere, David is back there trying to help with the ghost in the machine. They are available to you for prayer. Please utilize the service that they provide and thank them for it. I also want to let you know there will be no regular Wednesday evening service this coming Wednesday, but on Wednesday, December 7th at 7 p.m., we have a concert for Ukraine by all of the Wednesday musicians. Lisa Arendale, Phil Lieber, Rob Satori, Elaine Silver, and myself. It's going to be a fantastic music jam, and all of the proceeds go to World Central Kitchen for Ukraine. Please come, bring lots of people, and bring your bank account so that we can support them, all right? Okay, you can just bring your wallet. All right, next, dishes to share and fellowship today. So go in there and partake and watch the video in all of its glory and entirety. And I don't think there's a ghost in that machine. I just think it's this one. So enjoy and break bread together and get to know one another a little bit. All right, and finally, it is an opportunity for us to remind ourselves that we live in an abundant universe with a generous God. And so we get to be part of the divine circulation of that goodness of all the resources that come to us and through us and back out again. And so let's affirm that together, if you will. There we go. Ready? We give generously of our financial gifts, knowing that God is our immediate and endless source. And I would invite you to put whatever gift you have in the offering plates on your way out the doors. You've got lovely people accepting those gifts. If you're not putting something physically in the plate, put your hand over to be in the flow of that divine circulation. If you do have something, hold it to your heart right now and infuse it with all of the qualities of God that most resonate with your own soul. It might be power or peace or presence. It might be harmony and love and compassion. It might be wisdom and knowledge and health and wholeness. Whatever that may be, put that energy into your gift and know that it will travel with your gift and magnify to bless others. And so as we bring things to a close, we're going to do our prayer for protection, followed by the peace song. Ready? I'm going to ask you to stand for this. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.